Today, I want to talk about something that I would absolutely not do if I was learning Spanish, or any language for that matter. Flashcards, rote memorization, all of that stuff where you learn a word by itself, dictionary definition, and you don't learn it in context. I just think that really only harms you. And I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to explain what I would do if I were you in place of that. And like I said, this is my recommendation. This is just how I feel about it. If you don't feel the same, I genuinely don't care. Do what works for you. I'm just going to explain to you the downfalls of it. So, whether it's your native language or not, when you learn a word out of context, you literally don't know the context, right? So, I'm going to give you some examples of synonyms that are not exactly always interchangeable. The first pair, let's just use well and good, right? You can say, that's a job well done. You can say he did a good job. You can say he's a good kid. If you say he's a well kid, everyone's going to look at you and be like, what are you talking about? If you say someone's a well kid, that sounds like a kid that lives in a well or something like that. I don't know, but it's not something that you'll ever hear because it's just not. So if you just have the dictionary definition of well, which I don't know what it is actually, to my point, you're going to think, oh, that's just like good. I can say that when I'm thinking of the word good. No, you can't. Not all the time. Another pair. What's something good? Redundancy and repetitiveness. Redundancy sometimes matches up with repetitiveness, but they are not 100% interchangeable. And you actually see this a lot. You will see someone has been made redundant by their job. They got fired. And if you think redundancy only means repetitiveness, you're not going to even understand what that sentence means. Redundancy is something that's unnecessary. If it's redundant, it's unnecessary, which is you. That's why you got fired. Or it's you now, you know what I mean? Because you got fired. So, if you think that redundancy is the exact same thing as repetitiveness, you're going to use it wrong eventually. You know what I mean? I'm going to give you a personal example. He's probably going to watch this video and he might be a little upset with me, but no one knows who you are, bro, so don't get upset. Someone that I know that is working on their Spanish right now, they're in the beginner stages. They sent me a voice note when I was working out. I told him I was working out, and he said, "Qué amable de ejercicios estás haciendo?" And I'm like, "Qué amable?" I'm like, this sentence is just not making sense. And I listened to it a couple times, and so I had to ask him. I'm like, "Hey, are you saying amable? Are you saying amable?" And he's like, "Yeah. Like type." Or he said kind, like kind. And I'm like, yeah, like kind. I'm like, but that doesn't make sense in that context. And he's like, yeah, like what kind of exercise are you doing? And I was like, oh, like no, amable is not that kind of kind. It's like nice kind. Like he's a kind person. So just like I said, if you learn something out of context, in your native language, you might go, oh, this is just like this. In another language, it's not going to be like that. Type and kind are synonyms. Kind and nice are synonyms. Type and nice are not the same thing. And that will happen a lot if you so-called think in English or think in your native language, which is why you see a bunch of videos from other people or myself that says stop thinking in English, which is like impossible, right? But you can, these sirens are killing me. You can mitigate, that stuff by learning the stuff in context and using it how you learned it, right? If you read full sentences in dialogue, like eventually you're going to understand the context of a word, and you might not even be able to explain it to someone else, which is the case for a lot of words. I might not be able to give the definition of something, but I just know what it is. Like a cacophony of sounds. Like I wouldn't know how to tell somebody what that is. I know what it is because I've heard it in context enough. Like that's a lot of stuff. Learn it in context, use it the way you learned it, and you're gonna be fine. Okay? And like I said, this is my personal opinion. If you want to do flashcards and use stuff the wrong way, I don't care. Good for you. You're studying still. You're trying to get stuff done. Maybe in the future you'll change your mind. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll keep learning with flashcards. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm not saying you're not allowed to do it. I just don't recommend it. Thanks for watching this video. Let me know if there's any kind of stuff that you want to see on my free days. I'll make it for you. More life. Have a good day.